Hey.
Okay.
Okay, we are now on live. So
Okay.
Become Life Learner by Elizabeth Lucas of Olalu. And
Dr. Elizabeth Lucas is a dynamic and motivation speaker. She is based in the United Kingdom. She is the founder and director of Y.Y.C.I International. She has been invited to several international conferences to speak and lecture. She is an intelligent teacher, author, and she is a mentor to the younger generation. Please subscribe to YYCI TV on YouTube to watch her amazing videos. You will be glad you did.
This is just to let you know that there's nothing too difficult for you to do.
If we can change, then everything around us will change.
Without wisdom, you can't really create wealth. We're in the world of creativity. So subscribe to YYCI.tv YouTube channel to watch all our events, our past and previous events, and also my inspirational nugget of wisdom. Let me use this time to welcome you all to Y.Y.C.I International, a home of discovery, development, and demonstration, a home of love, relationship, and family, a place of mastering mindset for transformation and building deeper relationship. Y.Y.C.I has a blueprint, and that is time, T-I-M-E, for the youth leaders, and young families. We transform and training, inspiration and impartation, mentoring and motivation, and we also empower and educate our youth. And that is why you are all here today. Y.Y.C.I International's mission is to engage the youth mind positively and take positive action to help them to focus and not to be distracted, to get better and better for their life and for their future, and also to let them know they have everything within them to be successful and fulfilling their purpose. And once they believe in themselves and focus on their development and take action, then they can impact into other people's life. And also, we arrange masterclasses, workshops, conferences, seminars monthly. Our youth need us to guide them, lead them, mentor them, and save them from destruction, misguided, confusion, abuse, and being taking them for granted. Our youth need us to listen to them and give them opportunities, platform to express themselves, their concerns, their ideas, missions, dreams, aspirations, and vision. To also network both locally, nationally, and globally, and to empower them to do something great for their lives and future. And also to reposition themselves, knowing who they are and their why and purpose. Our youth need mentors. The reason why we invite all our world great leaders to this platform of Y.Y.C.I is for us to remind them that our youth need them as a mentor, coach, advisor, guardians. They need us to lead the way and lay example for them to follow. Okay, so let me quickly go straight to our program for today. Let me show you quickly something. So we start the journey together. And since Monday, we've been enjoying the teaching, the wisdom, and the experience of our great world leaders. If you have missed any of it, please visit our Facebook, Yes You Can International, or later on, visit our YouTube, YYCI.tv, and enjoy all the benefits of knowledge. Knowledge is powerful, and without gaining knowledge, you cannot renew your mindset. And without renewing your mindset, there will be no change and there will be no transformation in your life, in your relationship, and also in leadership. So let me also quickly tell you that don't make getting money as your first priority, but build relationship first around your leadership, around your business, even in your career. Now, our first speaker for today is Professor Success Osagie. But allow me to quickly tell you more about him. Okay. Professor Dr. Ikezahu Osagie Success, born December 26, and called into the gospel ministry on the 6th October 2009, and into the full ministry 1st November 2011. Is a trained counseling psychologist, business psychologist, an educationist, a policymaker, a theologian, an administrator. He holds an apostolic office on evangelism and character development. Professor of counseling psychology. Is a seasoned leader, administrator, and motivational speaker. He has addressed audience of thousands and millions across Nigeria and around the world. He is a speaker who understands the needs of human heart. He addresses the needs of the individual, the family, and the society. He speaks with compassion and yet is objective. His ability to communicate is such that people all ages, walks of life readily listen to him and find hope in his messages. He is a prolific writer and a teacher of the word and speaker in conferences, seminars, and church crusades, Bible programs. He is award-winning from different countries and organizations. He holds 91 honorary doctorate degree and 2 honorary professionalism. We want to know more about our great leader, our trainer today, our speaker and mentor. Let me ride on with the Prof. Professorship leadership. Professor Dr. Ikezahu Osagie Success currently holds a joint appointment as the President and Chancellor of Generation Light International Bible University, Nigeria, and also Amon Business Academic, Nigeria, Institute of Chaplain Administrator and Management Studies, Amon International Chaplain Corps Academy, Pro-Chancellor of ITMUT, Brazil, Honorary Professor International, Intensive University, India and Nigeria, Vice Chairman, Membership and Management, Nigeria, UN Economy and Social Council, and Director in Triumph Biblical University, Global Extension at USA. He is also an operating partner and coordinator of Crown University, International Chartered in Ghana and USA, West Coast University, International Chartered, INC, USA, African International Institute for Professional Training and Research Chartered in USA, and Senior Coordinator, Institute of Business Psychology, Nigeria. Professor is also the General Commander Officer, Chaplain, Ambassador's Peace Mission, Partnership with UN, UAS in 2016 to 2019. Professor Dr. Ezezaru Osagie Success is founding partnership with UN, UAS, like I've said before. He's also the visionary founder of General Light Evangelical Ministry International, Certified Institute of Peace and Security Study main campus in Edo State, Nigeria. Also the member board of trustee, chaplain, ambassador peace mission, Rivers State Commander, Eagle Crime Awareness and Initiative, ECAPI. His ministry has benefited many ministries, churches, and church leaders around the world, and has produced leaders of purpose in various sectors of corporate field across Africa, Asia, and Europe. He is a leader with a vision, a mandate to establish Institute of Chaplain Administration and Management Studies at Ammon International Chaplain Academy. So, and many, many more, but let me not bore you too much. But if you want to know more about our professor, please get in touch with him and also learn from him. Not just only connect with him, but be patiently wait and learn from the man of God, a professor, a chaplain. And now we're going to invite him to share his wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and experience. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and chronological analysis of my profile. I want to say I'm grateful this morning to be part of Yes You Can International Academy. Actually, today is my first time. And I want to thank Professor Dr. Elizabeth Lucas, the Queen of Africa. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, for inviting me to share with the great people of the world the little piece I have with me. I want to thank you very much for the work you are doing all over the world. I want to say the Lord God Almighty will richly bless you in Jesus' name. So quickly, it's a privilege for me, and I want to say it's a privilege and a rare one for that matter. I don't intend to take it for granted for any reason. And I appreciate this honor to share with us. It's not actually a matter of title. It's a matter of what impact we can create in the life of people, because there is no entitlement in title per se. So this morning in this Transformational Leadership Masterclass, I'll be taking my topic, followership and leadership in organization. Followership and leadership. So I want you to understand that it's very crucial for us to understand this piece, followership and leadership. Over the times, we have concentrated ourselves in looking at leadership without giving attention to followership. You know, like we have earlier been told, I'm a pastor, and I want to start by letting us know why the issue of followership necessitated my discussion in this masterclass. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1, Apostle Paul, the great apostle, was speaking. He said, "Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ." Follow my example. So the subject of followership is a crucial concept that we must consider in leadership in an organization if we must have a healthy and productive organization, whether in government, whether in Christendom, in church, in an organization. Followership is very, very important and is a most discussed subject in leadership. So followership has been an understudied topic in the academic literature and under practiced topic among practitioners. Although it has always been important, the study of followership has become more crucial with the evidence of information age and dramatic change in the workplace. That is why we want to consider it important to discuss it. As the world is moving towards digital, we have to understand the concept and the subject of followership, how it affects, how it promotes, and how it will help to shift the paradigm and the sustainable development goal. So followership and leadership are mutual activities of great influence to national and nation development and transformation leadership in all parts of the world. So in this masterclass, I will be exploring followership and leadership in an organization. So followership is as it relates to all members of the organization. So followership and leadership are two important concepts in a team. So to have a successful team, both followership and leadership need to be understood and practiced. Please get it clear. These are the two major words that for a healthy and a productive organization, followership and leadership, we must be able to understand and to be able to put them to use. So at the end of this class, my expectation is that we have been able to learn what followership is and what leadership is and how we can practice it and get a productive organization. Wherever you are, I thank everyone as you listen. I know today you will have testimony to share. So on followership, followership is the ability of a person to follow the lead of others. Followership is the ability of a person to follow the lead of others. So followership must be able to trust their leader as a follower. You as a follower, and now let me quickly pause here. Now, everyone is a follower. Whether you are a leader, you are a president, you are a vice president, you are a manager or a CEO of any organization, you are a follower. Because in one way or the other, there is somebody that you are following. Just as we have in a Christendom, even as a general overseer of a ministry, you also have somebody that you are following. Like Apostle Paul said that earlier we read, he said, follow me as I am a follower of Christ, irrespective of your position. I want you to know that everybody is a follower, because if you are not a good follower, you can't be a good leader. Every follower, successful follower, is a successful leader. So that is why this subject is crucial for discussion. So know that a leader can be below someone in a hierarchy. That is what I mean. So be open to new idea as a leader, as a follower, and be willing to take risk. So followership Followers must also be able to work together as a team. So as a follower, we must be able to work together as a team. So followership is the other side of leadership. So very, very important. So followership is the other side of leadership. So if leadership is essential for performance and mission accomplishment, so followership must have something to do with that. So if leadership is essential, so followership is also essential. So followership is the ability to take order and direction. Well, get in line with the mission and the commander in intent. Be part of the great team and fulfill the duty of the soldier. Now, a good leader is a good follower. Every army leader is a subordinate to someone. Take notes. Every army leader is a subordinate to someone. So all leaders are also followers. Army Doctrine publication of June 2022 in page 1 to 18. You can find out. So leaders and followers are one team. Now, leaders and followers are one team. So the great philosopher Aristotle once said, he who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. If you can't be a good follower, I want you to understand it will be impossible to be a good leader. If you are in a haste to be a leader and not ready to be a follower or learn, because one of the characteristics of a follower is learning. Learning from your superior, learning from your leader. So if you are not ready to learn, it's impossible to actually lead and be successful as a leader. The problem we have today since independence in Nigeria is as a result of people who are leading or who have led have not successfully or follow adequately. We see today that it's very difficult for in a transitional leadership for the second man in command to take over from his boss. And it has been a question, it has been a burden, it has been worrisome to every leader to answer. Why has it been so? Well, I leave that question for us to answer. So, will there be a leader without follower? No. And would this leader be a leader if they had not initially been follower? Both positions are equally important, require responsibility and interact with each other. So the leader must help his followers grow, whereas the follower must contribute to the success of the leader. You see, they can't do without each other. So in as much we are talking about transformational leadership and relationship, they must work together as one. A leader-follower is very important. They must work together. They are like husband and wife. They are like husband and wife. A follower and a leader are like husband and wife. So all of them, team members in follower role, they perform the same duty. While the leader is helping the follower to grow, and as a follower, you are helping the leader to succeed. Because there is an adage that a tree cannot make a forest. A tree cannot make a forest. So somebody can't just be sitting in an office and say, I'm the manager. Who are you managing? So you need your subordinate. You need people. You need to mentor people. So you can't be a mentor without a mentee. If you say you are a mentor, there must be people that you have mentoring. There must be people that you are coaching. So that is what it's all about. Now, effective followership make a productive leader. Effective followership makes a productive leader. An effective leader builds a productive follower. Please take note of that. Effective followers make productive leaders. And effective leaders build a productive follower. So a leader influences his team, just as team create influence on a leader. A leader influences his team just as team create influence on a leader. So this collaboration can be both productive and negative. Yes. Influenced by the ability to listen and find new solutions. Now, the reason why I'm not taking time for us to define leadership, I want, if you have been following this program from various of speakers, you must have learned what we mean by leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence and bring out the potential. That is my own way of defining it. Leadership is the ability to influence and bring out the potential in others. So every leader is a visionary. So both actively executing and successfully managing, supervising and stimulating this job ensure effective collaboration between followers and leaders. So accomplishing company goal or organizational objective or promoting the agenda of every organization. I want you to know that as a leader and as a follower, you must work together by trusting each other. Now, a leader that cannot trust his follower cannot build a good organization. A leader that builds an organization just around himself and is afraid of entrusting the responsibility or delegating power to his follower, definitely we have a problem in the future. I once told some of my members that I was coaching, we had an incident, and one of the okay, should I say the accountant one time said, no, we can't give money to this leader to go and pay for rent. And I called him and I said, no, first of all, if you as the accountant can be entrusted with the responsibility of managing the organizational or the organization finance, why can't you trust somebody else to be able to entrust how much to him to go and pay for rent that he is going to stay? You see, these are the problems we have today, even we follow between leaders and followers. Another level of followership and another level of leadership. Look at that leader who is responsible to another leader, and the leader entrusts him responsibility to another follower, but he has not been able to trust the ability of the other follower. And you see the organizational goal is hanging at a stage. And I came and said, now, look, let's look at it. Now, this person is going to pastor a destiny, for instance. Is going to pastor a group of people. And we are entrusting the destiny of people to this young man. So how much is to the destiny of these people? Just 115,000 naira. Then I was in a Boeing State, Boeing State. And it was to pay for a rent. I said, now we are going to entrust the destiny. The destiny of one person is more important than 150,000 naira that you are giving to this young man. And you are saying, no, you want to go and transport, spend 4,000 naira to go and pay for the rent? I say it's not called for. So you must, so in leadership and followership, one of the requirements for a successful followership and leadership is trust. The leader and the follower must be able to trust each other so that they can be able to delegate responsibility for the well-being of the organization. So without follower, there is no leader. Without follower, there is no leader. Just the same way, without member, there is no pastor. So without followers, there is no leader. Every company has significant individuals who are ready not only to manage and monitor the process within the company, but also to execute and implement team effectively. So similarly, individuals who are skilled in providing effective division of labor to each team member are needed to deliver the outcome as successful as possible and in line with each individual's skills and ability. Now, let me see it. everyone that you come across have a potential. Everyone that you meet today or you happen to engage have a potential. And it has one or two things to contribute to the well-being and the success and the objective of the organization. So all you need to do is to understand their skills, understand their ability, and help to harness it for the achievement of the organizational goal. So without follower, there is no leader. Without leader, there is no follower. Each leader was once a follower. So if you happen to be in leadership, wherever you are hearing me and listening to me, if you happen to be in leadership, a manager, you were once a follower. You were once a student. So every leader has been part of a team of followers who has proved his ability and authority to accomplish specific tasks through his dedication. Your dedication brought you to where you are now. So you must also work. Your dedication and your passion, very important. However, that does not mean that they are capable of leading a workforce. It doesn't matter. Not every follower can actually be a leader. Let's get it clear. That is why you see today there are people who are successful followers, but entrust to them responsibility today, you will have problem. One time I was in a place, that was 2010, and there was a nomination for leadership in the organization where I privileged to serve. There's this young man that just came to the organization, to the ministry, and he was doing well. He was everywhere. When you are looking for this man, he's there. Anywhere you want, he's there. But I discovered there was something lacking, and giving him that responsibility would harm him or harm the organization. And I told the superior then, I said, no, this man need to undergo some level of study, some level of coaching, some level of administrative teaching to be able to handle the responsibility that will be entrusted to him. It's too early to entrust to him now. If not, he will fail. He might be good, but he need to learn. He need to understand, because leadership, he need to observe. 3 months is not enough. He need to observe. There are certain things he might not be exposed to, and he wants to handle that responsibility. There will be problem. And when that counsel was not followed, and he was entrusted with the responsibility, just a month after that position was handed over to him, we began to see trouble. And the superior called me and said, this is exactly what you said. I said, yes. I said, by the grace of God, I am a psychologist, administrator. When I see people, I can be able to deduce and deduct that this and what this person can do. So if he can deliver within a time frame, he can. And that was how he was meant to go for lecture for some certain month before he was returned to his position. So leaders and followers are influenced by each other. Leaders and followers are influenced by each other. So leaders influence their follower according to the company's needs, while followers influence leaders with their attitude and actions. It can have both positive and negative impact. This mutual influence of both sides is a unifying element that can be improved, that can improve the performance and productivities of both the leader and the team members. So followers are leaders and should have similar set of characteristics. Followers are leaders. They must have the same characteristics. In selection, very important. At best, both leaders and followers embrace a set of assets that reflect their business and collaboration need. Full engagement, independence, initiative, activity, and courage are the qualities that unite leaders and followers. Listen again. For full engagement, number one, full engagement, independence, initiative, activity, and courage are the basic qualities that unite leaders and followers. Make them a cohesive team working as common purpose, for common purpose. Now, what do followers expect from a leader? Quickly, what will a follower expect from a leader? Number one, clear objectives, rules, and engagement and management. Clear objectives, rules, and management. Number two, regular and meaningful feedback. For the sake of time, number three, necessary resources that are tools to do the work. Very important. If you want them to work, you must be able to make available for them the required tools for the work. Now, quickly, what do leaders expect from their followers? Number one, desire to learn and grow. Every leader expects from his or her follower the desire, the passion to learn and grow. Number two, enthusiasm to do what is required, an initiative. Every leader wants his leader there must be that zeal, that passion, and must be innovative and have initiative. Come up with ideas. Every leader wants a follower that you assign duty, you go to relax, not coming to ask you, how will I do this? He should be able to come up with ideas to do his work. And finally, every leader needs cooperation, skills to work with one another. So every employee of a company is essential to ensure full functionality. So regardless of his position, both leaders and followers are a united team. Don't forget that interact with each other at any given time. Provide the needs for their mutual collaboration to perform their job effectively. So followers expect leaders to possess strong communication and writing skills, including proficiency in utilizing the essay writing, as the case may be, by demonstrating expertise in any job assignment. Promote effective, it will help to promote the effective collaboration within the team. Strong ethics, writing skills enable leaders to craft persuasive message, engage stakeholders, and communicate their visions with clarity and impact, ensuring the success of their initiative. Now, followers in leadership, the role it plays. Effective leadership in an organization is essential, but if teams are unable to carry out the vision, even the best leader will not be able to meet their goals. They will not be able to meet their goals. They will not be able. So this is why followership is crucial. The role is very fundamental. That is often that we have overlooked over the time in an organization. There are many resources dedicated to identify potential leaders and grooming them to ascend in an organization, but that of the follower is ignored. The same way we are training leaders to become effective leaders, we should also, dispense resources to train followers to be able to do their work very well. The role of a follower is not a simple one. Don't think it's not just to employ them to. No, it's not a simple one. It doesn't just mean following direction, no. Or building, accepting everything a leader says. No. A good followership is characterized by active participation in the pursuit of the organizational goal. That is why every good leader must write a vision. According to in the Bible, Habakkuk chapter 2, he said, write the vision, make it plain, and upon the table that he that readeth it. So every leader must make his vision, plain on the table. So every follower must be able to read it and follow it. In many cases, this means working independently, being accountable for your action, and taking ownership of necessary tasks. Is very important. So the catch is that it's common for followers not to recognize for their accomplishment in this area, even though they are essential to the success of the organization. Yes, even though they are essential to the success of the organization. Although it can feel like thankless role, many followers take great satisfaction in the work they do and embrace followership. An individual might realize being follower because they don't have choice. No. Enjoy participating in team as a follower. So you want to deeply understand the leadership role that someday might be your turn. So participate actively so that when it gets to your turn, you will not be lacking the required performance grades. So prefer to, instead of sitting back to watch, we have so many followers. They will just sit back to watch. No, participate, be part of it. Whatever that is going on, be part of it. Be among those that make things happen, not those that watch things happen. Because when it gets to your turn, you have problem. In order not to have problem, be part of the happenings in the organization in any way, regardless of your position, regardless of your year of coming or your grade. Understand the types of follower that we are. So a research at Harvard Business School developed a system of categorizing follower using two matrices, active versus passive, and independent critical thinking versus dependent on critical thinking. Based on where an individual falls, each spectrum, there are 5 categories of followers. Number 1, as I begin to round up, but my time is already running out. Number 1, a savior follower. Right in the middle of the scale, these people are adepts at surviving change. They are able to adapt and conform to the situation around them, whether this means stepping up to take an important task or quietly staying at the background. We have savior, follower. Number 2, sheep. These are passive people who do not think critically and do not have strong sense of responsibility. Begin to find out the one where you find or where you fit in. Yes, people. We have the yes people. Yes, people are those who will readily act when told what to do, but depend heavily on leaders for guidance. They do not tend to be proactive. They don't have personal contribution. They only do what they are told. If it goes wrong, it's what I was told. You are not a leader. You are not, in short, you are not even a follower. Alienated followers. These are independent critical thinkers who are not proactive in their role. They can effectively carry out their roles. But there is often an undertone of dissatisfaction that prevents them from fully embracing their work and contributing to their fullest potential. They have reason not to do whatever they are supposed to do. Then the next, I think that is number 4. Number 4, effective followers. These are independent critical thinkers who follow through enthusiastically. Effective follower can succeed without leadership. If you are to engage your staff, you begin to think along this line as have been put forth before us, but respond to it well, making them ideal independent employee who also work well in a team. Now, develop effective followers as a leader, as a follower. An organization with effective follower often perform well because employees are driven self-starters who are motivated to support organizational growth and have the critical thinking skill to do so. So to develop effective follower, an organization must understand, number one, understand leaders and follower role, know their differences. Just like understanding female and gender, understanding gender difference. So recognize that leaders need followers to carry out organizational initiative and ensure that leaders understand that the role of follower is just as important as their own. This role can be conveyed through training and modeling behavior when leaders are acting in the role of a follower. Teach follower skills. Teach follower skills as a leader in an organization. Teach follower skills. Don't assume that people inherently know to effectively follow. No, let them know. Teach them, just as we are teaching now. Create out a forum. Let there be a forum where you bring this knowledge to them. Teach them the necessary skills such as accountability, self-management, analytical thinking. This type of training can be done through coaching, mentoring, and experiential learning, just as we are doing here in Y.Y.C.I International Academy. It's very important. That is why I'm employing every young man and woman, youths, students, leaders in all sectors to subscribe to this body. You learn a lot and it will help you to grow your organization. And as you do, I know God bless you in Jesus' name. Now, include followership in performance evaluation. Very important. Include followership in performance evaluation. So employees need feedback to improve their followership skills and evaluate these skills during performance review. Highlight the importance of the role. Most review focus on leadership, but if you also shine a spotlight on the followership, this will promote employees to think about how they can also improve as a follower. Very important. And create a structure that supports followership. Create a structure, because when there is no structure, the organization is bound to rupture. When creating team, think about how you can incorporate the concept of followership. This might include creating small committees with no clear leader, rotating leadership position on a team, delegating tasks to lower level employee, or rewarding follower who take an active role in a project, as case may be, for the success of that organization. In conclusion, followership is important to leadership success. Followership is important to leadership success. It is important to recognize that a follower is a role model as well as leader are role model. Individually, as you may find them, followership is very essential in growing our business, in growing our organization, and helping to build destinies. People, don't neglect this role of followership. As a follower, learn what you are supposed to do. When I was pastoring as a pastor in a ministry, at every given time, because the ministry run transfer process, you might be a leader, a lead pastor today in this station. Tomorrow you can go to be an assistant pastor. And I look for books that fit every position I find myself. If I'm a resident pastor, I look for books that explain my role. If I'm an assistant pastor, I look for books that explain my role, apart from what we are taught, so that to be able to be an effective assistant pastor or assistant manager. Look for books. There are materials everywhere, even online, because leaders are readers. If you can't be a reader, it will be difficult to be a leader. The same way, if you can't be a follower, a reader follower, you cannot be a successful follower. With this, I want to conclude by saying there are two mutual worlds that cannot be separated for a transformational leadership. Thank you very much for the time, and I'm so grateful for giving me your listening ear, the audience. Thank you, Professor Elizabeth Lucas, for giving me the opportunity to share this little experience I had over the years. God bless you, man. I'm really grateful. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much for your full presentation this morning. Thank you for enlightening us, especially myself and some other people on the platform. I really appreciate the topic of a leadership and a follower. It's very, very important that we have a better understanding of these two positions. And honestly speaking, I've known about followers, but not in depth of how you really enlighten us. Because before, I always think, or I always say it as well, be a leader, not a follower. But now that you have corrected me now, it makes me to realize that, of course, a leader needs a follower. Because who are you leading? Who are you leading? Who are your, because when it comes to follower can be your clients, followers can be your customers, followers can be your patients, followers can be your prostitute, followers can be your mentees, followers can be your fans. So it's only for us to know to get a better picture of these followers. And as a follower, I also like the place where you said, as a follower, you are not a follower to just be there and being an onlooker, not doing anything. As a follower, as a disciple, you have to be willing to learn new skills, to learn from your leader, to learn from the skills that your leader is using, and also to learn even about you. You also talk about you have to be a follower and be active. If you are not active, you are just an ordinary follower. An ordinary follower will not grow, will not learn, will not develop, will not do anything. Or what they will just be following. I also learned from you that a follower cannot do without a leader, and a leader you can't do without a follower. So we are really learning a great stuff from you today, Professor August Osagie. I have a question for you, because I won't let you go with this your great topic.
Okay.
On behalf of our viewers, especially those that are, because I believe many people are still doing one thing or other, but definitely they will be joining very soon, because like we say, it's so early here in Nigeria and also in UK. But then, because it's on live Facebook, I believe that they will soon be joining. But on behalf of all our viewers, may I ask one question? Yes, we've been talking about followers and leaders, especially the followers, because if we want to talk about leaders, we can use a whole day to talk about leaders' benefit, leaders' characteristics, leaders this, leaders that. But this, what you have shared with us now, is not common. And that is why I won't let you go until until you answer some of my questions. It's not common. It's unique. And you've given me a better insight into it. Now I need to know, and I believe everyone will like to know, that what are the benefits of being a follower? You must have said some, but I want you to really go deep, because everybody is looking for benefits. Everybody is looking for gifts. Everybody is looking for what they will get. But on a practical level, what are the benefits of a follower?
All right. Now, thank you very much for this, for that question. First of all, when you go through the discussion, you discover that every leader have an expectation from his follower. And from this discussion, we also discover that a follower have the expectation from the leader. So one of the primary benefits for being a follower is the opportunity to learn from your leader. Learning is fundamental to successful followership and leadership, because the essence of leadership and followership is the success of the organization where you find yourself. Now, even in the whole, in marriage, so the success is that you have the privilege of being sheltered. You have the privilege of being guided. You have the privilege of being corrected when you are wrong. So as a follower, one of the benefits is that you have the privilege of being corrected. Even when you think you know, you are master know-all. You discover that when you are privileged or assigned to be follow somebody, you discover there are certain things that you don't know, that somebody can teach you. There is grace, because God does not make mistake of bringing you to be, to be under somebody. Let me use ministry, for instance. One of the benefits is that you have the grace. For instance, if you are a lead pastor in an organization, you are saddled with the responsibility of taking care of the flock, praying for them, fasting and praying, doing everything that you want to do for them. But when you are privileged also to be under somebody who is higher than you, you discover that the burden is taken off you to an extent, and your body is also shifted to somebody else to shelter and to care. So one of the benefits is the benefit of having the privilege of receiving care from your leader, protection from your leader. So protection is fundamental, and as well as provision from your leader. I don't know if I'm being able to convince you with your question.
Yes, and yes, you are doing, because I'm writing it down, because I'm learning. Yeah.
All right.
So the last one, I think I missed it. Privilege of receiving care, protection,
provision,
and provision. Okay. Guidance. Okay.
What about correction?
Yes. Any other things that you can share? Any other benefits as well?
Yeah. Now, another benefit that is accrued to followership is a preparatory ground for leadership. You have the opportunity to be prepared for greater leadership. So you are coming to a followership role to be able to prepare yourself to followership, to leadership. Because leadership, leadership is not a person. Leadership is a position. Leadership is a position occupied. Then followership is also a position, not a person. So when you are in followership, you are learning the rudiments and the nitty-gritty of followership and leadership, so that when it comes to your turn, you'll be able to serve well. That was one. Now, when we come to the Bible, we discover that the lieutenant of Moses were not the one that was given the responsibility to leading Israel to their promised land. Why? Because most of them assume the position of leadership and they don't want to follow. So when it comes to transition, the person that has successfully followed was picked because it was understood that this person have learned. So when it comes to another benefit is that leadership prepare you to leadership. Followership prepare you to leadership. Even between Elijah and Elisha, because we have to make reference to the Bible because it will help us better when in our organization. We check it, you see, there were other sons of the prophet who were not actually following. They were not following their leader. They were not following. If they were following, although they know everything about their leader, because it came to a time, they came to him, they came to Elisha, and I told Elisha, are you aware that your master, in other words, your leader, will be taken away from you today? He told them he's aware. But for him, he had to follow. But others, they stayed back. That is what we see today, even in our organization. There are ardent followers, where there are some passive followers. They are following, but they are not actually involved. So when you are following genuinely, definitely you are learning, and the matter of leadership gets to you in no time. So the benefit of followership is that there is a prompt transition of leadership on you.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I like
Yeah.
that word. And it is okay to say that as time goes on, if the leadership really, really pay attention to the lead, I mean, if the followers pay attention fully to learning from a leader, there is possibility that even the followers can do more than a leader.
Exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
we take, for example, we take the Elijah and the Elijah together. You see,
Yeah.
the glory of Elijah is more than the Elijah. And Elijah was the leader, while Elisha was the a follower.
Yes.
So that's another benefit as well, that you can do more than even your leader.
Yes.
So that is very good.
Because you have successfully learned well.
Yes, yes. And you've learned a lot.
A lot from your leader. So couple with what you learn from your leader and the one that you have within you, putting them to work gives you an additional impact on your leadership role.
Yes. Very, 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 very good. One of our great leaders is also part of us on this Zoom because he will be the next speaker. He's asked a very, very important question. Professor Sabrata Chattopadhyay from India. He said, what's the difference between a servant leader and an ambitious follower leader's aspiring?
All right. Now, if you look at the world, a servant leader is actually a genuine follower. Yes, we have an ambitious follower who the reason why they are in the place is because they want to take over the position. They don't have any reason. They don't want to contribute any further input.
Wow. Wow.
They don't want to contribute, but they are only just there so that they can be able to climb that ladder of leadership. Then they end up making mistakes. So a servant leader will be ready to serve. Now, using Jesus Christ, for instance, Jesus Christ said, I'm a servant among you. That is why he didn't really create a demarcation between him as the leader and the disciples. When they came to look for him, they could not be able to identify who is Jesus and who is the other disciple. There was no distinction. That was why Judas Iscariot have to devise a means of recognition. So a servant leader will not see himself as the ultimate, but we see himself as part of the team. A servant leader serve with example. Apostle Paul said, follow me as a what? He said, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. Now, a servant leader use himself as an example. Will not give assignment and go to sleep without being part of the assignment. Must serve with, he must be at the forefront. A servant leader serve, not just as a boss. Now, let me use the word. A servant leader is not a boss. A servant leader is not, there's a difference between a boss and a leader. The difference between a boss and a leader. A leader, a boss, give an assignment and go to sleep. And don't bother about how it is done. If failure comes and he begins to accuse the follower. But a leader ensure that everything that is required for the success of that assignment is made available for the follower. Then he talks about the ambitious. You know, when somebody is ambitious, that means the person has no vision. It's only just being ambitious. Every leader is a visionary individual. So an ambitious follower does not have a vision. He's only been ambitious of taking over. He want to answer he just want to answer a name as a follower, as a leader. That's just all. He's just there either to receive pay or to answer the name that I'm there.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Now we're getting any other question? He said, very well answered, Professor Osagie. Well explained. That's really good. That's really good. Now we are seeing people joining. They're saying your question, your answers are very understandable. They are wonderful. They are really enjoying it. They can just be showing all their icons. Yes. So I have another question, sir.
Okay.
Let me go back. And please feel free again if you want to ask any questions, Professor Sobrata. Now, we've talked about the benefits of a follower. Because I'm hearing it, the way you've elaborated it makes me to get it now a better picture of a follower. And now that you've answered that question as well, that there is a servant leader and there is also an ambitious follower. Okay, now the next question I would like to ask you, sir, is what are the characteristics of a follower? Because I know we have so many followers, different followers, but a genuine, effective follower, what are the characteristics?
No.
What are we, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, what will you see in them that they are willing to want to learn from you? The characteristics of a follower.
A follower, one of the characteristics of a follower, a follower must be ready to learn.
Yeah.
Learning, and a follower must be teachable.
Yeah.
That talks about humility. Humility. It must be teachable. That must be humble to learn. So every genuine follower must be ready to take correction when corrected or went wrong on his path is discovered. There are some persons, followers, who, when they are corrected, they get offended. So every follower that is ready to learn must not be offended, because definitely offense will come. But must not see any correction, must not see offense in any correction, must see it as an avenue to readjust to the situation. Because every leader have a position in mind of how he wants things to be done. And when a leader comes to tell you that this is no, even if you think it's the best, but accept it at that time. So every follower must be ready to accept correction. Now, a follower must be ready to be guided. Don't assume knowledge of any assignment different from that of the leaders. No matter what you think you know. That is why we see, in those days we said that if you are in a place, for instance, yes, you have given the opportunity to be creative and be innovative, but you must understand that this organization you find yourself have already written out their vision and their mission. Using Y.Y.C.I, for instance, there is a vision, there is a mission. Every other contribution is building on that vision.
Yeah.
So if you are a follower, you must be able to build on the vision of the organization of the leader where you are, not trying to override it or trying to introduce something else that will counter the vision of the organization. So as a thing, so don't try to what? Outshine the leadership where you are. I don't know if we...
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
So, another characteristic, there must be the spirit of cooperation.
Operation.
The spirit of cooperation. You must be able to cooperate with your leader to achieve the goal. There must be zeal and passion.
Mhm.
Zeal and passion. Desire to grow must be there. There must be the desire to grow. It must be there. Cooperation and unity, they are the same. So very important. As a lead, as a follower, you must be ready to grow on your own. Very important. Now, lastly, a follower must develop his or herself. Continuous development. There is no ending in learning. A wise man said, the day you stop learning, you start dying.
Yeah.
So we must continue to learn. However, continue to learn, continue to read. Read books. They are very important. So I stopped here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now you've got questions from the audience. My questions to Prof. How one can master the art of leadership? One, and what are the key elements one must have to be a great leader?
Now,
Leadership.
how can you learn the art of leadership?
Yes.
It's followers.
How can you master the art of leadership? And it's two questions. How can you act? How can you master the art of leadership? And then what are the key elements one must have to be a great leadership?
Now, fine. Now, to master the art of leadership, right?
Yes.
To master the art of leadership is simply following the rules and regulation of followership. Because there is a position of leadership, there is a position of followership. Now, let me say something here. If you want to be, that question is actually embedded in one. The two questions actually in one.
Yeah.
Because now, whatever you are able to do in the first is what guarantees the last. Now, to master the art of followership or leadership, you must be a genuine follower, not an ambitious follower. So if you want to master the art of leadership, you must be ready to learn what it takes to be a leader. To be a leader, that means you must be a servant leader first. You must be able to learn and you must be able to contribute to where you are. So that when it gets your turn, that is mastering the element of being a great leader, you must have learned very well. You must have learned very well so that when you are there, whatever you learn, you can be able to put it to work. Let me say this. There is no institution that make you a great leader. You are the one that make yourself a great leader.
Yeah.
If you go to Harvard University, you want to go and learn go to any faculty to learn how to become a leader, they can only give you a certificate at the end of the leadership class. But you start building it up by your observation, by looking at your environment and looking deep in. There is something within that is telling you this is what to do. Remember, leadership is about influencing people. How can you be able to influence people? What do you know and what do you have? So you must be able to display the art of leadership by leading by example That is number one element of becoming a great leader. Leading by example, showing first what you want others to do from you. You want people to go and to read, and you are not a reader. Is it possible? It's not possible. A lecturer that wants the best from his student must be able to prepare himself to be able to give to them what they want. The same way, a leader, anyone that wants to be a leader must be ready to prepare for leadership. Preparation is the crucial element. Preparation is a crucial element for becoming a great leader. Where you prepare matters also. Where you prepare matters also. And who prepared you matter also. And who are your mentors? Look out for a great leader to mentor you so as to be a great leader. Many of us mention so many great leaders in their country today, but not actually very many of us are paying the price that these leaders have paid. Are you ready to pay the price? So many of us now, if we ask, you want to be a leader, you want to be like Martin Luther or other great leader, George Bush and other. But have you really gone through their profile or read about their biography? Bishop Oyedepo said something. He said when he was about to start Covenant University, he went reading biographies of schools. He went reading about biographies of schools, great schools in America, in Europe, and all over. But he was able, you can see the effect. In the same way, if you want to be a great leader, read about great leaders and know about great leaders. Know how they become great. Then when you add what you have, you become a great leader. Thank you.
Wow, that was, I like the way you summarize it, because that is exactly what is in my heart to share. And I really appreciate that. Read and know about great leaders. If I may just conclude what you've said so far, that we need to prepare ourselves, that being a follower is you are on your way to become a leader. So you have to be prepared. You have to also see the example of your leader that you are following. And then I like the way you said it, pay the price. All the leaders you are seeing out there, including the footballer, even the president, even the basketball player. If you know what is going on, what was going on in behind the scene, you will know that what you've seen is the evidence or the result of what has been done behind the scene. And allow me to also say this to all our audience. When you see a leader that you cherish or you admire, just as Professor Osagie has said, don't be carried away with their certificates, their awards, or their money, because they work hard to get to where they are now. They've worked hard. They've done all kinds of sacrifices. They've been committed to it. And they have to sacrifice, they have to deny themselves in order for them to get to where they are. In any leader, any musician, anyone playing football or basketball or anything out there, even the prime minister, the president, they've gone through it for many years. They've failed several times. They fell down several times. They've made mistakes several times before they get it on. An airplane is not airplane. When they first started building the airplane, I'm sure they must have done some try errors until they get it. So I will encourage every one of us, based on what our great mentor, our trainer, has shared with us this morning that be ready to pay the price. Read from other great leaders. I done so many. If you look at my shelf here, or so many books, I read about every prime minister of UK, even the royals, the kings and the queens and the prince. Even when you go to America, I read a lot about all the great leaders. Recently, I just finished a book written, you'll be surprised, a story about how even Trump, how he started. Because remember, he's a billionaire before he became the president of America. So how did he start all this? Even when you come to UK again, I read about Lord Sugar, how he started. Because this is what will motivate you, not their money. Their money will only attract you. If you are going to a leader because you want to collect money, certificate, award, honor, recognition, then you fail. But if you're going there to learn from them, then you can even do better, like we said here, greater than them. If you focus, willing to learn, humble yourself, take corrections, and be prepared to become a leader. So on these occasions, I want to say thank you. Let me see. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So they've all just doing this, no? And they've really learned from you, sir, Professor Osagie, success from I wanted to say from United Kingdom. Probably I will say from reunited state of Nigeria. Because we have to be positive. We are united together to build our country. So I want to say thank you so much for spending your time as early as this morning to come and learn with us and to share your valuable wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and experience. Thank you, sir. And
thank you very much.
We really appreciate you. Okay. So we're just going to move on to the next speaker today. And feel free if you want to still stay around, and feel free if you have any other things that you have to do, maybe just stay for a few minutes or something just to learn a little bit from Professor Sabrata as well. And then feel free to leave at any time you are ready to want to go. So thank you, sir. We appreciate you, and God bless. Okay.